r/AskReddit, people who have met their online friends. What made you instantly regret it? I have weird story about a lesbian I met online and eventually I roll. For reference, I'm a B girl. We started talking after I made a comment on a lesbian forum about being a single lesbian mom. I still didn't know if I was bi or a lesbian at the time. We started messaging a lot. Hundreds of texts a day. This included sexting and trading nudes a lot too. But she was always obsessed with my daughter. Like almost demanding pictures of her and updates on her. Eventually we arranged to meet up. When we finally see each other in person, she looks shocked and asks where my daughter was. Being babysat by mom, so we can have a date. I could tell this threw her off a bit. After our date we start hooking up at my place. Even then she was still asking about her. After this, can I meet her? Would you let me babysit? Do you think she'll start calling me mommy? I was like, chill, she's 1.5. This combined with her being obsessed with my daughter's stuff, including stealing a pacifier, a dirty onishi, going through the diaper pail. I decided this lady is crazy. She ended up stalking me for a while, but I was moving back in with my mom anyway, so I managed to escape. Not instant regret, but did make me realize things could have gone badly if this friend hadn't been a good human. I used to play Halo 2 with a guy, Molested Spartan. I always thought the name was hilarious, and he said it was what Sparks randomly assigned him when he let XBL choose his username. That has nothing to do with how the event went, just his name in case has on Reddit lol. We were playing Halo one day, and I made some off-the-wall comment about how bad traffic was due to them redoing one of our local roads, and he said his town was redoing a lot of roads too. I think I had a friend over or coming over, and I forgot to mute my mic, and said the road he lived on, asking when he had to leave/come over. Again, this was 15 years ago, a little fuzzy. Anyways, Molested Spartan was like, holy crap, do you live in Zis? And I told him yeah. Turns out he lived like 5 miles away from me on the other side of town. We met up. I was about 11 or 12 at the time. He was like 17. And he went and bought me a burger and milkshake while we chatted. Pretty cool dude from what I remember. But when I got home I thought about how different that could have been if he wasn't just some high schooler trying to make a kid's night with a burger and shake. Edit. Holy crap. Thanks for my first gold/u/giraffe70. My brother met a girl in person that he had known for 4 to 5 years online, during which time they had kind of had an online relationship. She had brought her friend with her to meet him, and while they were sitting around a table awkwardly making conversation, with my brother apparently quite shocked at how bad she looked in person compared to how she looked online, and having absolutely no interest in her other than as friends, the girl sent her friend a message saying, OMG, get me out of here. He's looking at me like he wants to jump me, but she accidentally sent it to my brother. What ensued was likely incredibly painful to be part of. My brother showed her his phone and looked at her in disgust. Met a girl I really liked on WoW, but she lived in another country. After a couple of vacations there, it turned into a relationship. Made the decision to move and start a new live there with her. After living there for 4 months I slowly realized she was crazy as hell. Huge mood swings paired with a lot of aggression. Ended up getting stabbed in the side by her while asleep. Needless to say, after getting out of the hospital I took the first plane back home. She's still in a psychiatric hospital. What did she stab you with? My new filleting knife. Happy she grabbed that instead of one of the older blunt ones. Luckily she missed any fiddle parts, and it was only a 4-day stay at the hospital for observation. When I was 14 I had an online friend 2 states away who was 14. He and his mom took a trip TLC me, and the first thing we did when we saw each other was run full speed at one another. Our heads bounced off each other, and I chipped my tooth and broke his braces. I'm pretty sure his front tooth was also loose and had to go to the dentist to fix it lol. Edit. The video is down below if you wanna see it, and I've gotten this question a few times. We don't talk much at all anymore, but I would consider us friends still. How the fuck did either of you let that happen? Well, we just went for it lol. I still have the video, let me try to find it. Please find it. Okay, I got it lol. Before you click, I wanna apologize for the quality. It looked fine in my gallery, and when it uploaded it was weird. I tried re-uploading it, but no avail. Also, I'm sorry for my mom. http://imga.com/gallery/thg5m7jules. I met my old friend on Roblox about 3 years ago, but he turned out to be like 40. You did say it was your old friend. How many flaccid cocks do you get, Med? How often do you question why you chose that name? Asking the right questions here. She flew in town to be a bridesmaid in my wedding, and she decided to cheat on her husband with one of the groomsmen and blame me for that. Because it was my wedding, so that clearly makes it my fault she was unfaithful. How dare you have a wedding on this, the day of my adultery? I was 13 and had a 20-year-old pen pal in Hong Kong, both of us female. We met on Tumblr and emailed each other regularly. My parents' work said in all our correspondence, ABD, we basically just talked about our cultures. About a year of us talking went by, and she said that her university allowed her to study abroad in Europe for a semester and she chose my country. Fun. I was excited. However, some time went by and our friendship kinda faded, to the point where I had forgotten she was even coming to my country. About 2 weeks before she was supposed to come, she emailed me that her student accommodation had to be cleaned out, so she couldn't access it on the night that she arrived. She needed a place to stay for one night. I asked my mom, and she agreed to pick her up from the airport with me, and she could stay with us for one night. I mean, we trusted this girl. I was very open about my friendship with her. We had pictures and everything. So 2 weeks later, we pick her up from the airport. And we didn't click. She kinda annoyed me, but it was late, and so we just went home. We get home and get her settled. We went up to my room, she gave me some presents, and we chat a little bit. She says thanks for letting me stay here this semester. Huh? Excuse me? This semester? I asked her, like, what do you mean? You can stay here tonight. We can see each other during the weekends if you want to hang out, but you can't stay here. She goes quiet. We go to sleep. At this point I just wanted her to go away. And I got what I wanted. The next morning I wake up and she's gone. I don't even know how she got out, because we lock the doors at night, but she just vanished. We have special locks that you need a key for to open, and the key was somewhere else in the house. Yes, I think this is a fire hazard. No, my mom can't be convinced it's unnecessary. Her suitcase was still there. I tried calling her, she didn't pick up. She eventually texted me, asking if my mother could drop off her suitcase at a train station 40 minutes away at a certain time. My mother brought the suitcase, and that was that. Never seen her, or spoken to her again after that. Update, now that I think about it, I have a theory about why this went down like it did. She most likely put down my address on her visa application as her place of residency during her stay, and needed to stay in my house in case immigration was going to check if she was actually there. Also, for those wondering why she annoyed me, she treated my mother like a taxi driver, and she shot down everything I said to her. She was rude to me until she gave me the presents, after which she directly started talking about staying with me the whole semester. She didn't want to talk to me after I said that I had told her she could stay for one night on that exact date. I told her we could discuss it with my parents in the morning. Her and my English were both great, and we had discussed specific dates. I didn't put this in the original comment because I didn't think this would blow up like it did. And I'm not Irish, haha. Turns out my internet friend was a registered sex offender. He was a former high school teacher who was having sex with one of his 15-year-old students. I thought the guy seemed a bit odd, but when I saw the headline in the newspaper, a lot about his strange reclusive lifestyle started making sense. We are no longer friends. Edit, we're gold. Thank you, kind internet stranger. Wow. This exact thing happened to me. When I was in high school, I met a guy from a different high school in a local chat room. We hit it off, and after a few days we agreed to meet up at the store I worked at once I finished work. Well, I guess he showed up a little early with a friend and came through my check stand. I thought it was him. We'd swapped photos, but I was really shy and didn't want to be wrong. I waited for him to introduce himself, but he never did, and he and his friend paid for whatever they had and left without conversation. I was still hopeful that wasn't the guy, so I waited up for him for an hour after my shift. Of course, he never showed, because that absolutely was the guy. He must have been disappointed when he met me in the checkout line, and instead of being a decent person and saying he wasn't interested, he just ghosted me. If I could go back in time, I definitely would have said something to him at the check stand. That's my one regret. Make sure to like and subscribe.